Hello everyone. Hello. Welcome to today's live stream. We're doing this every day, daily drawing practice, daily live streams. Here's my little sunshade for this webcam. Look at this. Otherwise, the light goes in from my light here, comes right on the lens, and I can put this on it, and apparently it like kind of changes the image quality because the light is not going straight into the lens. But yeah, we draw with each other every day. Today we're drawing Ganapathy, who is amazing. Such a cool artist, illustrator, I believe. Just a cool drawing person who I know from the Sketchy, Museum by Sketchy community. We have taught together as teachers there, and I just love Vin's work. If you're not already on Instagram, please go and follow Ganapathy, who is a really, really cool person to follow. Such great drawings, such great work. I'm really delighted to draw 1999 Vin with you today. We have Vin's blessing to draw, and what was it? I asked Vin if there's anything to say, and he just said anything that's in the name of drawing, that promotes drawing. Let's draw. Vin likes drawing. We all like drawing. Dale asks, so yeah, Vin does a lot of traditional drawing with digital color and also digital drawing and just using whatever makes it look cool. Hello everyone, let me know who's here. I see that Dale, Tommy, Nicole, Toto, Kiki, Funny, Ike, Beata, and Lewis are here. That's so great. Let's just start drawing. It's later than usual today because I just had a blissful 2-hour session culminating in 6-minute portraits. Look, Kiki, it's you. Every Tuesday, everyone is invited to come and draw with us in Zoom. And we're starting later today because we just finished drawing over in Zoom. And then I need a moment to compose myself and make sure I've got the reference ready and stuff. So here are my sketches from Zoom. I do this every Tuesday, and it's been every Tuesday for almost 5 years now, doing timed portrait sketching between 30 seconds and 5 minutes. It's so much fun, such good practice. Come and draw with me every Tuesday. But for now, let's draw Ganapathy. What color? We're focusing on shadow shapes this week. I have all these different colors, different pencils. I'm still on my pencil spread. I would still love to know from those of you who haven't said hello yet, who's here, if you're familiar with Vin's work. So Dale asked this question: seems many artists use Procreate, other classes like these that teach that. I was thinking today, thinking about shapes, thinking about shadow shapes. I actually taught some classes with the Sketchy Art School that were Procreate classes. There's probably live streams, but I considered today maybe doing something, a live stream or a video about Procreate, the way that I use it, which is very different. Like there's just so many things you can do with it. I'll put a 6-minute timer on, since I just wrapped up 6-minute sketching. So I may be able to take a moment, if I remember after this drawing, to show you some of my Procreate pieces. But there's so many different ways to work with it. And I think like the 30 Faces, 30 Days from Sketchy is really cool because there are so many different artists. I'm sure if you looked up like Procreate live stream or Procreate artists on YouTube, you'd probably find stuff. But I was invited. I taught some stuff with the Sketchy Art School alongside Vin. We did an Inktober together with Artur as well. There was the 3 of us. We did 10 lessons each. So it was kind of like 30 Faces, 30 Days, but it was an ink version, and it was just taught by the 3 of us. And after doing that, I was asked by the creator of Sketchy, who I'm not sure how public he is. So I don't know. He doesn't kind of trumpet about making sketchy, so I won't say who it is. But yeah, we chat a lot, and then he was like, I know you're really into this like traditional handmade ink stuff, but would you be interested in doing Procreate tutorials? I was like, wow, that is a really interesting invitation. Hello, divine arts goddess. Welcome. It's nice to have a goddess in the room. Always appreciated. Nice to be made aware of the presence of a goddess. So yeah, I was asked, you usually work with like your own crushed petals and handmade inks, but would you be interested in doing a Procreate tutorial? I was like, would I? That is a really interesting idea, because it's so different from all of the handmade ink stuff that I was doing. And I was like, if I'm going to do tutorials with Procreate, I'm going to figure out a way to use it, which is something that I can't do on paper. And so my tutorials that I made, I exclusively made my marks with the freehand selection tool. So it was all about shapes. That's why I was thinking about it today, because we're in our shapes season this month and looking at shadow shapes and focusing on drawing with shadow shapes, which I'm not talking about, but I'm doing. Let's get in a bit closer to these shadow shapes. Blessings to you. Blessings to all of us. Yeah, so I would use the freehand selection tool to just like grab shapes, and it was a lot like this. I would look at value and color shapes, and in Photoshop it used to be called the lasso tool, which is like you select an area and it is not yet a thing, and then you can fill it with a color. And that's how I went about finding a way to use Procreate in a way for me which was really interesting and compelling, enabling me to do something which I couldn't do on paper unless I had a lot of time and scissors to cut out all these different colored shapes. So it would kind of be possible, but I found a way to use it which was super interesting for me to work with. And there's incredible opportunities. Like, you can do so much with Procreate. So you can draw your own, like you can draw traditional drawings and then experiment with color digitally. There's so much stuff you could do. So what exactly would you like to learn, Dale? So some of the stuff I've seen Vin sharing recently is super cool. I love this one with I shared a couple to my stories on Instagram, and the one of these two laughing people, yellow background. I was just like, wow, it's so cool. Like, that's something that I really enjoyed digitally, just playing with color. And you can change so much. It's like such a like infinitely flexible medium, which has its advantages and disadvantages. There's nothing to clean up afterwards. It's really interesting. It's just I've always been interested in digital art. I remember at school back in like 99. Oh, the year that this photo was taken of Vin. Learning Photoshop and experimenting with Photoshop. I had such a cool art teacher, and he was like, every creative tool that we have access to, like anything that you can experiment with, incorporate into your creative process, like feel free to experiment. And so I played around with Photoshop a bit, and I studied architecture, and we did a lot of digital stuff there. And there's so much you can do. All right, that was the first 6 minutes, which I feel pretty good about for 6 minutes in. I'm going to put on another 6-minute timer and keep going. I'm not sure how much this looks like Vin, but I have quoted Vin in the past, and I hope you will watch this Vin, because this quote of yours, which I don't know if it came from you or someone else, but I appreciate so much. And I think I said it recently, but it's a very good, is lost the likeness, but like the lostness. I don't know if you had that in your Instagram status, but it was just like, oh yeah, that's such a good expression for this thing. Like you do a drawing and it looks like a person, maybe looks like the person, or maybe it strays away and it's like, oh, this doesn't really look like that person anymore, but it's cool. And sometimes you can really, I had this sense once that we get to create new people sometimes. Like we start with a reference and start drawing, start making something. And Tommy says the undo button is the best thing about digital. Can you see that all right? I have to make it really dark to kind of appreciate the contrast here. Yeah, this thing of, especially when I started using Sketchy, which was back in 2016, and then I was really practicing portraiture a lot, and I hadn't really drawn from a lot of reference of people or done a lot of imaginative stuff, drawing from observation, and then found this amazing online community of people sharing their face for people to draw. And it was so nice. And it still is so nice. Speaking of such things, join my Discord server if you haven't already. Which is also a place where people share themselves for each other to draw and share our work, and you can grab the reference for these sessions there. Dale said, just want to learn to use the tools without struggling. I want to play with an idea when away from home or out having coffee, etc. Yeah. Yes. That's a very cool idea for just being on the road or not being at home. And it's pretty amazing how you can just have access to all these different tools and colors, and from this, it can really simplify the setup. But if it depends how much experience you've had with digital programs in the past, because I found it super intuitive to learn to use Procreate, but I've heard other people say that they don't think it's the most intuitive drawing program, but I really like it, and I've been able to do a lot with it. It's pretty amazing. So here we go. Here, so far, we could still call this like pure line, thinking back to the last set of drawings we're doing. But within here, there are these line shapes that I've made, which are really clear shadow shapes. And that's what I want to think about throughout this month, is recognizing shapes, shadow shapes that help us put things in the right spot, and also help us just to simplify the way we're going to put detail in. So I will grab a work in progress shot of this, and then kind of fill in some value into those shadow shapes. So once I've made these shapes, there's a little highlight in there. That would be nice to keep something there. I've drawn the outlines of these shapes, the shadow mapping, and then I know I can just go and fill those shapes with some value. And if it's really dark, these are Derwent Inktense pencils, by the way. And this is teal green. I can't remember why exactly, but I remember hearing in the past that teal is an important and significant color. What do you all think about teal? Does this look like teal? I feel like this looks very green. How green is teal? So yeah, with this pencil, like using various intensities of shading in my shadow shapes here, where it's really dark, like the eyes, the frames of the glasses can get really like intense, and where it's a bit less, can just do this kind of brief and looser shading in between. Just to put some pigment down. And I'm just going to keep it to this one pencil today. The last couple of days with Frida Kahlo, I used 2 different pencils, but not today. I'm actually bracketing Frida Kahlo with 2 of these teal portraits. That was another 6 minutes. How many people here in the chat or in the comments, if you're watching the replay, speak up in the comments whenever you feel addressed. If you have an answer to anything I ask, feel free to respond, because it's really good to have people chatting in the chat. I know you're all busy drawing and focused, but feel free to contribute to the conversation. It's also nice to have people to talk to. But how many of you know the Sketchy app, which is now called Museum by Sketchy? And are you on the app? I know that Adam, who's been watching the replays, has been posting his drawings from here. Hello, Adam, over on the Museum by Sketchy app. And there are a lot of great creative people I know who I know from there, or we met somewhere on the internet, and then they're also there. And yeah, back in 2016 when I first started using it, it was like I was drawing from it every day, and it was just such a new thing to have all of these people who are sharing photos of themselves for people to draw from. It was just so cool. And there used to be this thing called the Wax Challenge, which was the weekend art extravaganza. And it's a free app, by the way. And these were also free community things. So it was like, okay, this weekend we're going to do a drawing with the idea of technology. And there was no reference given. Everyone could find their own reference from the app of someone, or even, it didn't have to be from the app, it could have been anything. And then would come up with an idea and then make a work of art over the weekend, a sketch, and sometimes some of the things people did were amazing, and so so well thought out and just amazing. And it would be like just a written prompt and be like weekend art extravaganza, and then it would be just some written prompt which would then get a whole bunch of people around the world drawing something or painting or sculpting. It was very it was totally free. People could do whatever they wanted to do, and it was such a fun thing to be a part of. And I just learned so much, just drawing all these people, and then being able to like you would draw someone and they would see your work and be like, oh, thanks for drawing me, and share your own references, get drawn, and it's just such a cool sharing creative place. And it still is. For whatever reason, I hadn't been using it much for a while, but I've just recently kind of gotten back to it, as we've been drawing some of the people from Sketchy here. And it's really nice to see that people are still years on, like it's been 9 years now since I first used that app, and that people I know from over the years are still there, still posting, still sharing photos, and working, making great stuff, and it's really interesting to witness the kind of creative artistic development over that time as well. Mine as well. When I look back to my old stuff there's I definitely experimented with some things. And Nicole, Dale says, I have heard about it here and I've just begun to explore it. Very cool. If you find me, it's probably at Dylan Sara. Comment, say hello, I'll follow you back. Yeah, Nicole, not many people from there are very interactive, but some of them are. It's not like Instagram, it's not like the Discord server, but there are some people who are very active. But yeah, it's a really different level of interactivity, and it's very different. Somehow it's very image focused, like Instagram, but it's very different to Instagram. Um, yeah, so there's a different amount. I guess a kind of things that I've heard about social media is to really kind of find a place on different platforms that you kind of have to become an inhabitant of the platform. And so by going around commenting, and yeah, seeing people's work, getting inspired, like kind of looking back, following them and seeing the way things develop, and just starting conversations, like anything that goes beyond just kind of like, hey, great, or nice work, which is also nice. But once you start really kind of inviting a different level of depth to your conversation, that then people kind of, will respond, and out of that there may be some connection that grows. But yeah, it's different there. But I still feel like it lives from the fact that people are sharing themselves, their photos of themselves for people to draw from. That is just like the cornerstone of the coolness of that app. And so there's less of a conversation culture there and more of a, hey, let's draw each other. And yeah. But I find the connection culture kind of it in all of these, so all social media, have found that it kind of transcends platforms. That like I might get to know someone like Vin on the Sketchy app, and then I'm following him on Instagram, and I'm seeing more of his work on Instagram than on Sketchy, and we keep in touch more there than on Sketchy. So it's like all of these different apps kind of have a different. They offer something different. All right. I really like this drawing right now. Sir Duchamp, hello. So nice to have you here. That's cool. Cool seeing you pop up in a live stream. So I just have to flip back to the page where you are. I hope you're doing amazingly. I've been drawing a live stream, have been drawing someone every day since I drew you. Every day I'm doing a drawing live stream here, and there's varying between ink and pencil, but where are you, Sir Duchamp? It was so nice drawing you, and it was really cool to chat and connect. Here we go. Oh, this feels like so long ago now. Yeah, here you are. And yeah, it was so nice, the story that you shared of this image that was taken in such a I guess a challenging and transformative time, and then it turned into this, and many people have drawn you. Yeah, and your work is just so cool. I love everything that you post, so keep doing it. Your creations and creativity are super inspiring. And for those of you who aren't already following Sir Duchamp, go check him out, because it's just amazing what you do. So I was just saying, I feel like this drawing is pretty cool right now. It is a water-soluble pencil, and I would like to, just add a bit more value. I was thinking with the water, I will be adding value to this. Other people have said things too. Tommy, switching from Adobe Photoshop to Clip Studio, but if I didn't already know Photoshop, I would probably test one of the free intuitive alternatives. Seems to be a lot of cool programs out there. Yeah. I wanted to stay away from the Adobe ecosystem because it's so expensive, and it's like once you start using it, it's like, I guess it's practical the way things interact. So Duchamp, are you still here? What do you use? All of your incredible editing, what kind of software realms do you inhabit? Yeah, so I use Affinity programs, Affinity Photo and Affinity Designer, which is like Adobe Illustrator and Adobe Photoshop. And there you pay for them once and you've got them and you can do whatever you want with them. And it's I like that compared to the model of like you need to subscribe, you need to keep paying and paying and paying and paying and paying. Oh, look at that! Look at that color, teal. Oh, that's nice. I'll just reread what you said. That, oh man, that thank you. That was such a sick surprise that morning. I saw the drawing, so again, super appreciate it. Such an eye and a gift. Thank you. Right back at you. After Effects and Blender. Cool. I downloaded Blender once in an alternate reality, a parallel unfolding of history. I wanted to do like animation. That's what I thought when I was little. I was like, I'm gonna be an animator. And yeah, once I've seen some amazing stuff people are doing with Blender, and I was like, oh, maybe I could still do animations. But then it was like I was at a point where I was just like so into the paper and had just concentrated so much on drawing that I was like, oh, I'm not sure I want to. I wasn't there to invest myself into a new program. But Blender that's so cool that's what you're using. I've seen really cool stuff people do with Blender. Yeah, how cool is the internet? so many great opportunities to connect with people. Oh, that is an interesting question. How long did it take me to become content with my art? Interesting question. It varies. The response, my response to that would vary from day to day. I'm not always content with it, but I have found a consistency and a level of acceptance, which has been really good. I think it was 13 years ago that I was like, I'm going to focus on doing this thing. And at the time I was 28 and I had always liked drawing, but I didn't identify with it. And it was not something that I felt like I really do a lot, but I always liked doing it, if that makes sense. So then I had a bit of a crisis at age 28. I was like, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? And that led me, thankfully, through my wife, who was like, what's the coolest thing you could imagine doing? I was like, oh, drawing. She's like, we'll do that. And thankfully, I was in a position to be able to be like, okay. And then I focused on it. And then that was 13 years ago. And in 2019, I started teaching for the first time, where I had felt like I'd gotten to a level, I'd practiced so much, and I was doing stuff consistently. So what are we talking there? When was I 28? When was I'm not too good with numbers, but so hang on, that was like 13 years ago that I decided to focus on it, and then oh, I'm lost. Tantalizing comment, Sir Duchamp. Could only imagine what I could do with Blender given the foundation I already have. Yeah, maybe one day. It's still maybe it's still on the horizon. My childhood dream could still become a reality with Blender. But yeah, I just got lost in the math there. I can't remember. How long was that? Between, when was it? So 13 years ago I started focusing on it. 1999 I started teaching. It's 2005 now. That was 16 years ago. So after 7 years, I was at a state where I was like, I feel like I have something to pass on to people from the experience that I had gathered. And my role as a teacher has kept increasing since then, and I have found different ways to share, and that I realized that something like the most that I get out of making stuff is the process of making stuff. And I've done illustrations and jobs and different commissions and stuff, and which are fun. It's great to be able to make money doing what you love. But even more so, I realized rather than like chasing clients to do stuff that people need done to communicate, to solve problems and tell a story, the client chasing so far has not been an easeful thing for me to do. But I realized what I love most is making stuff and being in the process of creation. And so yeah, it was 7 years ago that I started teaching, and realized that was has become an important part of my path, my creative practice, and also business-wise. So yeah, interesting. Thank you for the thoughtful questions and conversation. It's interesting to reflect upon that. How long have you been moving your body? How long have you been making these amazing video edits? You say, beautiful, it's dope, you're able to trust yourself in the process. Kudos to Wifey for the nudge. Yeah, so good. And it was something like, yeah, but I can't do that. And she was like, why not? And yeah, we were at a really free time in our life. No kids at that stage. And yeah, and she was just like, well, if you don't know how to do it, find someone who knows how to do it, and then follow the steps and do what they say, and that's how you learn. And I was like, oh wow, it sounds so simple when you put it like that. So yeah, thank you so much, Kira. I'm pretty sure you don't watch my videos, but thank you again and again for pushing me on the path of creativity and following my instinct and creative urge. We're pretty much done with Vin. I am, at least. You can all take as much time as you like. Such a treat having you drop in, So Deschamps, and everyone who's been here. I always love drawing with everyone. And if you would like to draw with me every day, I'm sharing daily curated reference, cool photos of cool people for everyone to draw. And I will put my Discord server link in the chat. And you can get the reference there. You can go to pinned posts in the daily reference chat and see the last 50 references, which is really cool. So you could just like draw one after the other if you want to. Here is the link to the Discord server. And you can also ask for feedback and critique. And there are lots of other things you can do on the Discord server. And if you're sharing to Instagram, you can tag me, tag Vin. If you're not already following Vin, please do, because he's just wonderful, such an inspiring artist, like so many of us, doing so much cool stuff and sharing so much. So yeah, check out Vin and join the Discord server. I'm just going to do something down here, and then I'm going to say it's done. And I'll just show you the spread, because this is interesting. I'll be moving to ink tomorrow, so I'm alternating between pencil and ink. And this has been my pencil spread. And so I have 2 Frida Kahlos bracketed by 2 teal portraits. So we'll have a look here. Vin, Frida, and Gratias Egit, who I'm not sure if that's your name, but thank you for your great face. And thank you everyone for coming and drawing with me. You can put a drawing hand emoji in the comment if you've made it all the way to the end of this video, the stream, or the replay. I always love seeing some drawing hands, and I love seeing your work. So please, wherever you share, tag me. If I can, depending on the app, I will happily reshare your work And so Deshaun, yeah, honored to have you pop in here. It is so cool. Such a nice treat to see you join the chat. And here we have Vin. Here come the drawing hands. Thank you, everyone. So cool. Nicole, Kiki, Funi, Olivier, Funny Oliver, Terry. Sir Deshaun's drawing hand is there too. Do you draw much, Sir Deshaun? You do all sorts of other amazing creative stuff, and I wonder if you draw too. Tutul, Lewis, what are those party things? Thank you for those party things. Dale, thank you everyone. You're all so good. I enjoy sharing this time drawing with you together so much. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for being here, and we'll be here again tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central European Time, which is an hour and 17